Hakeem Jeffries was not ready for this. Take a look.
They are seizing on this clip. Republicans say this is an admission that Democrats are using the American people as political leverage.
During an interview on CNN, Hakeem was so off the rails that he completely changed the subject, trying to blame Republicans for rising political violence. But the internet is forever, and we have the clips that prove otherwise. So, if you believe truth isn't partisan, hit the subscribe button and let's jump right into it.
As you know, Leader Jeffries, the White House and the Republicans, they are seizing on this clip, and I'll play it from your fellow top House Democrat Congresswoman Katherine Clark. Listen and watch this. This is what she said.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
But why not vote to fund the government right now and then negotiate in the coming weeks on the subsidies once the government is open and people are working, they're getting paid, and all of that?
We want to reopen the government, and we want to do that immediately. We want to find a bipartisan path forward toward a spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people. We will continue to stand by hardworking federal employees who've been targeted by this administration from the very beginning of Donald Trump's presidency.
Now, this is just absurd. For starters, we've had 3 shutdowns since last year, and each time, Democrats made it clear they were perfectly willing to use unpaid federal workers as leverage to get what they wanted. Some are more subtle about it than others, though. But the strategy was obvious, and we are not talking about a small number of people here. During October's shutdown, a good chunk of the federal workforce was affected, along with millions of Americans who didn't get some of their government benefits. Now you can add the DHS to that list too, which covers 22 separate agencies. Wolf was quick to spot the hypocrisy and hit Hakeem with a simple follow-up question that sent him straight into mental gymnastics.
You heard the speaker suggest you guys, the Democrats, are acting like terrorists, holding the American people hostage right now in order to get what you want. You want to just quickly respond to that?
Well, that type of language is reckless, it's irresponsible, and it's going to get someone killed. What do these folks not understand as it relates to the language that they continue to use? We should be able to battle it out in the contest of ideas, as opposed to trying to use these extreme terms that have been unleashed on the American people from the very beginning of this presidency, and matter of fact, for a long period of time by the current president and those sycophants who continue to do nothing more than rubber stamp his extreme agenda and hurt the American people.
It's almost as if Hakeem just woke up from a coma and completely missed the kind of rhetoric his own party has been pushing for the past decade. But now that all that nonstop doomsaying is clearly pushing unstable people over the edge, he's suddenly trying to dump the blame on Republicans. You seriously cannot make this stuff up, folks. Just look at the latest example. The guy who targeted the White House Correspondents' Dinner was straight up parroting Democratic talking points in his manifesto. He was so radicalized that he explicitly wrote, quote, "I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people chose to attend the speech and are thus complicit." In other words, he was ready to target members of the media, too, many of whom helped fuel the very narratives that pushed him there, just to get to Trump and his cabinet. To further prove the left helped create this environment in the first place, we have a quick compilation of them openly calling for violence. Take a look.
Don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
Feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
Okay. When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh,
You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
You know, it's honestly absurd that Hakeem would just ignore all this and focus on one quote from Johnson. Sure, Mike's wording may have been exaggerated, but the broader point still stands. Democrats have gotten far too comfortable using the country's leverage while playing petty political games. Another point is that they are increasingly leaning on a tactic where they accuse Republicans of doing the exact same things they were already doing themselves. Take free speech, for example. They now act like the ultimate defenders of the First Amendment, while conveniently ignoring years of pushing cancel culture. And the Biden administration pressured social media companies to suppress, quote, misinformation simply because they didn't agree with what was being said. Joe Rogan and Elon Musk expanded on this tactic over a year ago, and the pair made some solid points.
They decided SpaceX was the target. They just figured out the crime afterwards.
Which is so crazy because that's exactly what they're saying Trump is going to do if he gets into office.
They're doing all the things that they accused Trump of doing.
Yeah. Openly. Yeah.
I mean, the sheer number of hoaxes that the Democratic Party is pushing over and over again. And it's like, look, I understand like politicians are going to, exaggerate. They're going to misspeak, and they'll tell occasional, untruths, whatever. That's how it is in politics. But when you have deliberate, concerted, repeated pushing of hoaxes, you're like, wait a second, like, come on, man, this is too far.
And you're supposed to be the good guys.
You're supposed to. You can't claim to be the good guys. You can't claim to be the honest people if you're deliberately pushing hoaxes that have been debunked thoroughly.
Yeah.
Well, we're like even Snopes, which is a liberal thing, says it's bogus.
Yeah.
Like the Fine People hoax.
Obama just said that on stage.
Obama just said that. I was like, what the flying?
He doesn't give a They're just
That's
just
a flat
going
out
for
goddamn
it.
lie.
Flat out lie.
This is what happens when one side has an entire media machine backing it up. The thing is, everyone seems to have reached the consensus that this has been terrible for the country. It has created a deeply divided society where even basic truths are constantly up for debate. Yet no one with real power seems interested in changing it. And honestly, why would they? If you are a media executive, pushing half-truths and outrage keeps ratings high and drives more clicks. If you are a politician, those same narratives help you go viral, energizing your base and pulling in more fundraising. This becomes a non-stop cycle where division is profitable for everyone at the top. One serious step toward fixing it would be breaking up these massive media conglomerates that have essentially turned themselves into information cartels. But that's a topic for another video, so stay tuned.